How y'all doing? Welcome back to Loud Cry. I'm Joshua Wiley.
I'm David Reese.
In this episode, we've been talking about where is America in prophecy? Where is America in prophecy? You know, David, I'm driving in my home after work. I'm driving home after work one day, and I hear a minister on the radio, and he says, he has a big following, and he says, because America isn't in prophecy. And those words just struck a chord, you know, and I'm like, okay, maybe sometimes as ministers, we don't want to tell the public or tell someone, hey, I just don't know the answer. Yeah. You know, just be honest, like, well, let me look for it, I just don't know. Maybe somebody asked him, do you know where America's at in Revelation, you know? And he's like, well, and he couldn't find it. But what's sad is, the devil would gain so much by keeping people blind to where America is really at in prophecy. And that's why I think this episode is so important. I think it's important for you to know, where America is really at in prophecy.
Oh yeah, and I agree. And the thing is, you know, it's hard to think that one of the biggest superpowers of our time wouldn't be anywhere in biblical prophecy. You know, it's commonly said, when America sneezes, the whole world gets a cold.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, you know, and when America's economy, as we've been seeing, goes down, the whole world suffers for it. So it's hard to think that, you know, this superpower, this beast, you could say, would have no place in biblical prophecy, but it does.
No, and one of the reasons that you had just touched on, I want to expound a little bit, is one of the reasons I believe the devil wants to keep people blind to American prophecy is if you don't see them in prophecy or know where they're at, know where America's at, then you won't know what he's up to. America, you know, you won't know what he's fulfilling.
What the agenda
and you don't, yeah, exactly. You won't know what their agenda is. Revelation 13.
Yep.
Let's go to Revelation 13.
About to say it.
and let's start off at verse 11. Let's start off at verse 11. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
And one cool thing about this is the only time in Scripture where a lamb and the dragon are put together into one being.
That's deep. That's deep.
And we know the lamb represents
innocence.
Innocence. And it represents Christ, yes. And what does the dragon represent?
The evil.
It represents the devil. In Revelation 12, verse 9, just to let Scripture interpret itself, it says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan. So we see something that looks like Christ. It says it has horns like a lamb, but speaks like the devil. And
let's look at America. I love putting history with the word. You cannot separate history in the Bible. What's the motto of the show? The truth loves investigation. Now let's look at when America was started to say, hey, this is the land of the free, home of the brave, come on over here. But it appeared innocent. It appeared like a lamb. We're a Christian nation. This is a free nation. It appeared innocent, but his actions, speaking is an action. So it says his actions will speak of evilness and wickedness and of the devil. It appeared innocent as Christian, but it spake as the devil had every type of slave for every culture.
Because of America, Christianity is seen as a Western religion. Most places say, but it really is. It's an Eastern religion. You know, that's where it started. But because of America, so you can see how much like a lamb America originally looked. But now, I mean, like we've talked about before, it is complete rebellion against God.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the point to where it says it has two horns as a lamb, but it spake as a dragon. Its actions are evil. You know, when you look at how America started, it said, come on over here. But the minute you come over here, if you wasn't of a certain group of elite status, you were enslaved. Now the devil would love us to just focus on black and white slaves. Ooh, you know, and that's true. Over 20 million blacks died even on the way over here and during slavery. But they had every type of slave: Japanese, Chinese, even white slaves, which they call indentured servants. So here you have this country who says we're the land of the free, home of the brave, but it is enslaving, pillaging, robbing, stealing, you know, from the Trail of Tears with the Native Americans, things of that nature. So you have this beast power who comes up. And what's verse 12?
It says, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. And what's interesting here is, like I said a few minutes ago, when America sneezes, the whole world gets a cold. Okay,
Yeah, right.
It has to be a world power according to this verse. It says it causes the whole world, not just the West.
Right.
You
Great
know,
point.
Not just
Great point.
Canada and Mexico, but the whole world. You know, and we see that America causes the whole world to do many things. I mean, where did the United Nations meet? On our soil.
Right. Right. And I like verse 14. It says, "And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live." Now, there's a spiritual image, and then there's the literal image. And this first beast, as we've already talked about in the earlier episode, was Rome. Rome. And if you look at the Roman Catholic Church, you know, over from 50 million to 200 million Christians were killed just for owning the Bible. And we're told that this beast that rises up after will make another image.
Or a likeness. I used to say an image or a likeness.
A likeness. And that might be better for them to understand. A likeness. So could it be that they're going to set up something to where that's going to persecute Christians and Christianity all over again?
It will be like Rome, the Roman Catholic Church during the Dark Ages, is what it will be like.
Right.
And a lot of people, I think it's interesting, about 50 years ago, a lot of people said, that's impossible.
Right.
That
Right.
could never happen.
Right.
But now,
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's starting to unfold in front of our eyes very quickly. We're starting to see how the Constitution's hanging by a thread now.
Right.
Something that some people
wow.
50 years ago would say, that could never be touched. That's our Constitution.
And they're doing things underhandedly like Rome. A lot of people don't know the only other government to legalize same-sex marriage throughout the country was Rome, other than what America's getting to now. And I'd just like to say, you know, God hates the sin, not the sinner. You know, I have so many, and it's not just homosexual. Let's talk about heterosexuals and problems that even I had. One of the images of Rome that this America sets up back towards Rome is pornography. You know, pornography and fornication.
And adultery. I mean, adultery is glorified in every single movie.
Oh, wow.
You know, the cool guy that, you know, he's got 10 girls on the side, you know, and his wife don't know, and he's perfect at hiding it, you know. I mean, even that new Tyler Perry movie, it's called Temptation, I think.
I don't know
it's a serpent in the form of an apple called Temptation, and the whole movie's about a giant affair. You know?
Or what about the movie with Ashton Kutcher, where him and the girl, they're just friends who fornicate with each other.
Yeah,
they just fornicate with each other whenever they get horny or those things. You know, it's sad. You know, the way things are going. You know, and it's so easy. It's so easy for people to just focus on homosexuality and point the fingers at them and you're doing this and doing that. While the main time you're sleeping with all these different people and not married, or you're living together with someone. And matter of fact, that's probably one of the biggest creepers that have been turned okay in our society, is how two people living together, not married, and is deemed as okay.
Well, we're married in our hearts. That's what a lot of people.
And this is the image of Rome. All of this is the image of Rome.
Rome was exactly like that. I mean, one show I hate to say that I used to watch was Spartacus. You know, I mean, don't watch that show, but if you have watched that show, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, and that's the Roman Empire right there. It was glorified back then, and it's glorified now.
Yeah, that's why you can't have no advertisement without nothing sexual on there. Everything has to be sex, sex, sex. And if you look at all the many things that's being set up, the attacks on Christianity, you cannot even be in the military. If you're in the military, and they passed the law, you can come out, you can scream at the top of your lungs, hey, I'm homosexual, I'm gay, I'm out of the closet. You can scream it out and it's legal, but if you scream out, I'm a Christian, you'll get in trouble.
Oh, it's actually even more now. You know, they just made it starting actually September next month, or depending on when this airs.
Right.
But that now they're going to recognize same-sex marriages in the military, give them the same benefits, housing benefits, and all that as everybody else.
That's another part of Rome. Another part of Rome. And a lot of people don't know, in another episode, we're dealing with the image. We're dealing with the image of Rome and how America is becoming a little Rome, as you might say.
Oh, yeah, easily. And see, one of the things that Rome and the Roman Catholic Church prized themselves on was the ability to take people in, and they made them Roman, or they made them, Catholic. They put their clothes on them, they taught them their doctrines, this is how you live, and they could take anybody and make them Roman, or that's one of the things but now what do you hear? Oh, they're westernized. They're Americanized. You know. Oh, someone goes to America, comes back to the country. Man, you're so American now. You cutting people off in traffic. You dressing all like that, and you talk different now. And it's just like.
There's one thing about this American prophecy is another reason why I believe the devil wants to keep it from your knowledge and keep it from my knowledge, and that is verse 15. Now we're in Revelation 13. 11 through the end of the chapter is all about America. But let's read verse 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. You look at, just Google FEMA camps. You got FEMA camps, these concentration camps, the Georgia Guidestones. There is an evil agenda of work.
Yeah, there's open laws for it. I mean, a lot of people look at the president now like, oh, he's passed all this stuff, but go back to Bush. He passed the Patriot Act. This paves the road for everything. They could spy on you. They could tap into your phones. They could do all this. That's what the Patriot Act did. Well, now we have two laws. One, that if you're perceived against the government, you can be locked up indefinitely. They can lock you up, throw away the key. Also, if they feel like you're against the country, they can assassinate you. And they've actually done it once or twice. And these got passed on we're just using it for terrorists. But it doesn't say that.
No,
it says if they feel you're against the government. And what did we learn, a few months ago?
Who's really against the government? Who's their number one homeland terrorist?
The top of the list are evangelical Christians. Christians that take the Bible literally and study biblical prophecy.
The number one homeland terrorists that they say in America is, like we said before, evangelical Christians and Christians who take the Bible literally. How dangerous is that? What are we really witnessing? What's really happening underhandedly?
Oh, I mean, one of the things that they talk about taking literally is the creation. Because if you believe in the Creator God created the world in 6 days, you can't believe evolution.
And I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Loud Cry. And remember now, the truth loves investigation. The truth loves investigation. Y'all have a blessed one.
When I'm lost in the shadows, weary from the lies, when I'm nothing more than broken, you stand by my side. You fill my heart with wonder, and with every star that shines, it